Hello everyone, only a small contingent on tonight, but hopefully a few more people will join us. It must be that everyone's so successful and they don't need any help. No, I'm being a bit silly there. So I've had a huge but fantastic week, and just then I was thinking about the call and thinking about afterwards and recording it and downloading it and thinking, oh God, that feels like 2 days ago that I was just uploading it to our YouTube channel. So I always say that time flies when you're having fun. But the reason why I want to do a little bit of a different slant on tonight's call was that I've had a great couple of weeks, great couple of months. But I'm just noticing as I'm doing some coaching with people and talking to people, there's a lot of positivity, don't get me wrong, but I'm just noticing a few little things that are sliding and a little bit of not quite commitment, not quite belief where it needs to be, and also feeling a little bit jaded. So in the US, they have two conferences a year. And I can imagine you don't need a star to remember or to know why that reason is. Mainly because they actually have a lot of promotions, so they have to have two conferences to get all the NMDs organised and up on stage. But the main thing is to keep morale up and keep that momentum up and the inspiration. So in the next couple of days, we certainly will be inspired by Stevie Coulter. If anyone can inspire us, it's Stevie Coulter. But the other person in my life, and for a lot of you, is Linda Evenden. What I want to say is that if you think back 6-7 years ago when Linda Evenden was starting to be a Juice Plus franchisee, she was in a country totally by herself. Even though she was an Aussie, she was under an American. So it would be like, for example, say Tanya, and she was under someone in America. And yes, she befriended a few of us and we tried to help, but she really didn't have anyone here. And she went on to build a massive team, and she had a lot of luck, and she had the same as all of us, a lot of disappointments, and a lot of hard work. Linda didn't have that. I'm really quite a good friend with Linda. She didn't have that personal growth then. She's done a lot of Anthony Robbins stuff, Tony Robbins, but she's done the hard yards, so she knows what it's like to not fail, but to have those days when you think, oh my God, is this worth it? So I thought it fitting when I was looking through my very, very huge file on team meetings and what we could talk about tonight. And apart from some obvious verbiage and three-footing afterwards, I really thought it was fitting that we would have a little mini conference and we'd reflect on what we would, when we were addressed by Linda and a lot of the stuff she said at the conference. Because I don't know about you guys, but she's one of my absolute heroes. I've got quite a few, but really between Selene Egan and Linda Evenden, I just really get her, and I love what she says. And she also packs a punch. She doesn't muck around. She doesn't split hairs. She just says it like it is because she's been there. So I'm just going to share some of my notes. And a lot of you might think, well, we did that at conference, so I've got those notes. But when did you last read them? And I actually really believe that a lot of this will resonate with you. The other reason was also I've had a huge day. I didn't have a lot of time to prepare. But it's funny, sometimes one of these things that's quite impromptu can probably be some of the most helpful things you've had all week. So bear with me. Linda says you absolutely have to have a vision and you have to believe in that vision. She also says that it's 80% of just explaining what it is and 20% of actually just asking the question. So we are messengers, we share information with people, and then eventually we just have to ask the question. Because a lot of you might have a lot of people on your grid. Go through each and every one and say, have I asked the question? Have I invited them to an event? Have I asked them if they'd like some extra information on Juice Plus? Have I invited them to work with me? Have I invited them to have a coffee with Hillary and myself? Have I? Go through every single person on your grid over the Christmas break when things aren't so busy. Well, not so much busy personal-wise, I'm sure they will be, but just with your Juice Plus when everyone's gone into a little bit of a hiatus. I really suggest you do that. If you're a person who uses the grid, and I consider that a foolproof system, go through, make a series of questions. Have I asked? Okay, so Linda says it's not overnight. And she's so reassuring. So I'm going to say to each of you on the call tonight, It's perfect the way it is happening right now. You are doing nothing wrong. You cannot do anything wrong. You can only do your best, and you can do what seems right at the time. I still firmly believe you can't say the wrong thing to the right person or the right thing to the wrong person. Okay. She says also there's just as many falls as successes. We hear about the big successes, but if she documented and talked about all, and all of us, myself included, about all the falls, it would be just terrible. Life is happening for us, not to us. When I came back from that conference, my theme song was Let It Go. I was playing below the line a little bit. I was doing the blame, shame, and justify. I was thinking, oh, if I had this, if this worked, if someone helped me with this, this would happen, I would be further. I put my hand up, I was there. So it's not happening to us, life is happening for us. So if anyone's had a bad week or a bad day, say thank you for that bad day, because that was there to show you the way. Do you remember the Italian boys, the twins? The yeses build your business, but the no's are building your personal growth. You will not be an NMD of note unless you grow personally. And you guys on the call tonight are doing that in leaps and bounds. So please look in the mirror and pat yourself on the back, because I think all of you are doing so much better than you even realize you are. Okay. When you think that life is happening to us, it's really disempowering. When you want to be empowered, you think, okay, life is happening for me. What can I learn from what's happened? Whether even if it's a good thing, what can I learn from that? Wow, I can learn that what I did today, that really works. That got me some results. So don't always look to what you're not doing right. Look at what you are doing right. Pat yourself on the back, but also remember to keep doing it. Okay. And the most profound thing I remember hearing her say, she said, it's absurd to think that everyone you speak to will want to purchase Juice Plus or to do our business. That's ridiculous. Can you imagine a Tupperware lady, every single person wanting to buy Tupperware, wanting to be a Tupperware lady? I don't think so. So Linda always talks about sowing and reaping, and that's what the late Jim Rohn talks about in his CD as well. And I like to call it, we're not hunting, we're fishing. Just a little bit of the bait and a little reeling them in and chewing them. And later on I'll give you, I had a nice chat and a Zoom call one-on-one with Tanya today, and I shared a little bit. So I'll be doing that a little bit later on. It's always a numbers game. Wherever you guys are in your Juice Plus journey, the reason why I'm an NMD and you're not quite there yet is that I have had more no's than you. I've talked to more people. I've had more no's. I've had lots of yeses, but I've had more no's. It is always maths, mathematics 101. That's what Juice Plus is. So all the time you're drip feeding, and never ever, unless someone's really, really rude to you and says, no, bugger off, it's never really a full no. So when people say no, just be really graceful and accepting and just allow them to come in. Everything that I've been doing lately, I realise it's been a series of exposures, the fortunes in the follow-up. I don't give in, and it's persistence. And if they absolutely said no, I'd totally cross them off my list, and I do that. So one of the biggest pitfalls when you're starting is shooting on people. No, but you should go on Juice Plus, it's brilliant, and you should do this. Do you want to be poor all your life? I mean, should. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And just a bit of personal growth for yourself. The next time you hear you tell yourself, oh, I should have done that, or I should be doing this, tell yourself off. Because every time you say should, I should have done more follow-up, you're making yourself a bad person. So replace that should with could. I could do more follow-up. I'd probably get much better results. It's a lot kinder to yourself. Don't forget you've all got lives outside of Juice Plus and you're trying to do the best you can. Then again, if you're really being quite slack, you can be a little bit firm yourself, but still use the word could. Okay, I had a message today from a new guy, and he said, I'm really annoyed. This girl, she only wants berry blend, but I wanted to buy premium or fruit and veg. What should I do? And I said, you absolutely let them come in any door they want. That's direct from Danny Martin. He didn't realise that berry blend by itself counted towards his fast tracking. So you only know what you know. So just let them be where they want to be. And also, you give them what they want, and that'll help them get what they need. It's not about us. Be the messenger, not the message, not an expert. You know, I've actually gone out of my way lately when I'm talking to someone. I actually stop, even though I do know and I could elaborate more. I say, but you know what? I'm not an expert. I don't need to be. I've got a lot of medical people and the people who do the research on Juice Plus. I don't need to be the expert. If you really need to know a little bit more and the answer to that, I can find out for you. So really, you can dumb it down a little bit, because you don't want people out there thinking you have to be as brilliant as Tanya or Rachel or Michelle, because that's really, it could be a bit off-putting, particularly if you're just starting to do really well. You can inspire them, but don't scare them. Okay. Basically, all Juice Plus is, Linda says, is the cheapest, easiest way to get massive amounts of fruits and vegetables. So just remember that when you're talking to people in the next week or so. Juice Plus is the cheapest, most wonderful and easy way to get massive amounts of fruits and vegetables into everyone. So she goes on to say, everything that she's saying, she's heard from others. And don't forget, I've been going backwards and forwards to the US and to conferences for 18 years. A lot of the stuff that Linda says, and I hang off every word, I've heard it from other really, really special leaders. So she's quite right. 6 or 7 years ago, she was just like you and I. She really wasn't successful. She didn't know a lot, and she just did amazingly well because she was teachable and accountable. Okay. A lot of people have stinking thinking about our industry, and we need to do the very best we can to not push people, to not be pushy, to not be a sign-up club. People, if you're going to sign them up to be a franchisee, they need to be looked after. We need to help them with their beliefs, etc. So she also says our system is tried and proven. We don't have to reinvent it. It's already there. You just do it. And also, Linda, and this is something I've done for at least 15 years, she fully says you need to use feel, felt, found. So anytime you think, I must ask Hill what to say when someone says something to me, think about it in your own words, how you can say feel, felt, found. Okay. The other thing as well, now this is profound, and you might want to use this when you're talking to a prospect. I am becoming a student of this industry. I didn't know how amazing it was, and it absolutely builds dreams for people, and nothing will sway me. This industry builds dreams for people. Also, Celine said that she saw a shift in Linda when she absolutely owned it. Don't kid yourself that you really own your business. Don't kid yourself that you really know everything now and you're doing everything, because I learn something every single day, and I unlearn some things, because if it ain't broke, you don't fix it. But when you see someone young and fantastic coming in and they're doing something different, oh, why wouldn't you try it, particularly if they're getting success? And the same goes, you can listen to an old girl like me, and I'm not even saying old in age, just someone who's been doing this for a long time. And if I've been successful, why wouldn't you copy? Okay, the other thing too, when Celine said that she saw the shift in Linda when she owned it, here's what it means. I want you guys to remember the time, it probably hasn't happened yet, it may have, the moment that you realize that what other people think about you and you doing Juice Plus does not pay your bills, that's when you're owning this business and this industry. Network marketing, multi-level marketing, helping people earn an income from home, residual income, passive income. Just own it. The minute you realize that what you worry about what people will think or they're saying, just remember they don't pay your bills. And the people who really do diss you, and that's Linda's expression, they're usually tired, broke, and fed up with life. So you think about anyone who really has had a little bit of a semi-go at you, just think about it. Broke, tired, and they're really not happy with life. Okay, so how do you turn lemon into lemonade? You need fuel to get convicted. You're not giving up on your dreams, so you've really got to look at your beliefs. If you're upset with naysayers, now this is powerful. Though I'm sure all of you could put your hand up and think in the last month, someone said something a bit negative to you about what you're doing or what the industry is or whatever. Linda says, find something nice to think about them. This will really make you grow and dig deep. Like if someone said, oh no, it's just like all the other things like that. You get all involved in everything and then it doesn't work out. Just think, well, you know, she's probably one of those tired, broken and bored people. And she just doesn't understand. She doesn't know what she doesn't know. And just try and think of something nice. Okay. We talked about numbers, so we don't need to go on that. We talked about lots of no's. What I did find myself when I came back from conference, I found it very, very hard to do the I am things. So I sort of want to advise you guys, rather than say something you really don't believe it, maybe you can say this, which is, I used to do a lot of this in my law of attraction studies. I am in the process of attracting all that I want to do, be, and have by speaking to more people. I am courageous. I am brave. I'm in the process of attracting lots of people, and it will happen. I'm getting better and better at being brave and bold and courageous every day. So rather than say, it's a little bit like someone who's very, very overweight saying, I am slender and beautiful. It's just not believable. So I'm in the process of becoming slender and beautiful and feeling fantastic. And every day I'm doing little things to achieve that. So still do your I ams, but rephrase them so it feels really real. So she always says she's courageous, grateful, guided, humble, and confident. And that really, I can just see Linda. So the business is a gift. She says that. She also says, and we've all heard Kira and Adam say this, but particularly Kira Westwick, don't play small. Do you know what it is? By playing small, you're not going to be successful. But you know what playing small is? It's really uncomfortable because it means you're in that comfort zone, which is blooming uncomfortable. And honestly, it's not helping you. It's not helping people with their health. And it's certainly not bringing you money in to make your life better. Okay, empower people to work for themselves. You don't want to drag them into this business kicking and screaming to turn around in 3 months' time and you think, oh God, I put so much energy into that and I really pushed them in the first place. It wasn't really what they wanted. Because what we're going to talk about tonight is a series of exposures. But you also need to consider sense of urgency and fear of loss. So you want to be on the ball with your follow-up, but you also want to understand that it's just this little snippets and series of exposures. Okay. And also, those of you who say you've got 6 people or 10 people or 15 people in your team, in your downline, please don't drag them up to be NMDs because it's not going to happen. I would be perfectly happy if you guys said to me on one of your coaching calls, I have looked at my team, I love them dearly. There is not one person there who really does get it and is going to do well. So I open my heart and my mind to getting new people. Just do some real mirror work, and you don't really have to look in the mirror. Just look at your business and think, okay, I'm not desperate. I'm not kidding myself. My time is very precious. My energy is not, huge. And I've got to put my time into people who really want it. So then you go out looking for people. And that's what leads me into talking about what we're going to talk about tonight. And that is making sure that when we come within 3 foot of someone, we either talk about what we do for a living and what we're doing to change our lifestyle or this fabulous product that we're all consuming. So Linda also says that 80% of the people you get, so whether you've got 10 people or 20 or 100, 8 out of those 10 or 16 out of the 20 or 20 out of the 100, 80 out of the 100, they just want to do Juice Plus so they can get it cheaper. Seriously, you've got 100 franchisees, you've got about 15 people who are really quite serious, you've got 5 people who are really serious, and you've got 1 star. So think about that with your numbers. 100 people, 85 people just doing it, mumbling along. About 5 to 10 people really, really serious. 5 people absolute really, really doing it, and then 1 person as a star, and allow them to be there. And so what that is, it always goes back to what I'm doing with my 90-day game plan, is the 80-20. I'm putting 80% of my time into working with people who want to. So what are you giving all your time to, the 80% of people in your team or the 20% of people in your team? Also, in your prospects on your grid, what are you giving 80% of? People who you think are really showing you little signs, or are you trying to get people to step up, do what you want, and it's not really what they want? So be really, really tough with that grid. It's not as though you're going to rip it up and put it in the bin. But if you really think you've had enough of trying to encourage someone, and now you feel as though you're hunting them and not fishing, just cross them out for now. Okay. The other thing is as well, has anyone not totally and utterly devoured GoPro? Because if you haven't, whether it's the audio or the book, I would really love it, regardless of any other personal growth or self-help book, you need to thoroughly listen to those audios over the Christmas break. Every minute you've got. In fact, you can really get through a lot of it if you just decide you're going to do 45 minutes. So I want to mention that. So I'm going to leave that there because I'm determined tonight and most nights to keep it to half an hour. So we have got 5 minutes. Let's say we've got 10 minutes at the most. If I might, I thought I would, rather than tell you what to do, I will give you some examples of 3-footing and the series of exposures that has happened to me. I actually wrote these down. Yep, Rachel, love GoPro. I do as well. And like, I'm coming down to Secret Harbour in Rockingham tomorrow. I almost get a real feast on Eric Worre. And honestly, I just get so much from it. And you can imagine I've heard a lot and I've read a lot. And I've been to a lot of conferences, but he just does it. That's why he's so popular and he's so successful. Okay, today, I decided yesterday that I needed some more help because I'm really doing Juice Plus very, very seriously now. So I decided that I was going to get someone to do some ironing for me. I was going to get someone to clean the car. So I haven't seen the car cleaning man yet. I've decided to do that after the weekend, but I've got an appointment. So not a single tradesperson comes into this house. When they leave, even if they're standing at my front door, they know what I do for a living. So this morning, a very nice gentleman came to pick up some ironing for me, and he already had my name and my phone number and my address, but I had, on top of my ironing, I had my business card there, and I made a bit of a fuss of it. I said, look, whenever you want to bring it back, that's fine. We're away for the weekend, but look, here's my card, so you've got all my details. And he looked at it and he said, oh, what's this? And I said, oh, that is my passion. That's what I do from home. In fact, I'm building a huge team at the moment. So if you know anyone, I'd really be grateful. Indeed, you might even like to do it yourself. So basically, he has no idea what I'm marketing. He's just seen my card. So I'm in there, boots and all. So all I'm doing, I'm just fishing to see if I can see what his pain is or if he's got any desires. So then I just kept going on and I said, look, I'm really happy when you bring the ironing back to give you, and obviously I said a lot more than this. I can't remember what I said, but I was seeing what he wanted. He definitely wanted an information pack. And he said, gosh, my wife would be interested in this as well. And he says, I've got 150 ironing clients. I said, well, look, not all of them are going to want Juice Plus, but you only need 30 to 40 customers and you've got a really thriving business. And then I didn't say, and then I said, then I'll be helping you build a large team and everyone will do what you're doing. We call it duplication. So in the space of 5-7 minutes, we had a lovely chat at the front door. So immediately I came in, I got a plastic sleeve and a Post-it note, and I put Michael and Lydia. I did not have time, and it wasn't in my plan to actually get that information pack ready. But I not only did that, I turned around on my grid and I wrote Michael and Lydia. I then also wrote on my prospect list, which some of you have seen, I wrote Michael and Lydia. I also wrote on my events notebook, Michael and Lydia. So do you see that foolproof, so I'm not going to forget to follow up? So obviously when they come, I have no idea where they live. I just have his name and his phone number. So when he comes, I'll give him the information pack. I'll keep using his services. And then sometimes if they're just even average ironers, I have no qualms in eventually changing and trying another ironing person. We want to iron for the rest of our life. A lot of people enjoy ironing, but I'm sure they'd like some lifestyle freedom. So that was an example of that. So we all have plumbers and electricians and delivery people who come into the house. So basically, what you're trying to do is tell them what you do for a living. Just say, gorgeous day, isn't it? I'm so glad I didn't have to go in nursing today. I'm a cancer nurse, and for so many years I got up at 5:30 to go into a nursing shift. I still miss it and I love it, but I love what I do at home as well. I've got a beautiful office looking out into my garden. Sometimes I show them my office. So I'm just chatting. That's all I'm doing. Did that sound pushy to any of you? It shouldn't have, because it was just conversation. And nothing may come of it, but I'm certainly going to, the fortunes in the follow-up, so their names are down. Okay. About 2 years ago, I went with my best friend to see a travel agent. I'm not sure if I've told you this story. And when I rang to see if Craig and I could have an appointment to come and see her for about some more trips, she said, oh, yes, I remember you. You're Carmel's friend, and you do something. You market something. And I said, yes, I market Juice Plus. And she said, you must get me information on that. So she actually asked me, but she remembered me. So when Craig and I went in there, I had a really nice comprehensive information pack. We've dealt with her. We've now booked a holiday. I've given to her, so we paid for it in full. So she's on my grid, she's on my events list, and she's also on my prospect or customer. And you know what? I've already judged and thought, no, she wouldn't want to do this as a business. And I really sincerely think that. But how dare I think that? I've judged. I don't know. Her circumstances might change, or she might be sick to death of travel. I doubt it very much because she's brilliant. But so now that I have played the game and I've helped her, I've made money for her, she's helped me, I can now approach her. So I prefer not to do that on the phone. So she's going to be dropping some things off to us in our letterbox. So I'm hoping she'll come in for a cup of tea, or I can at least talk to her at the door. Now, if I don't see her for the next week or so, I will definitely, and I just realised I didn't even invite her to the Steve Coulter thing, but I will definitely follow up and see if she's ready to order. So I won't even ask her what she thought of it. I'll just say, Diane, just as you know, and even when I've emailed her with our passport numbers and saying, absolutely chaotic week, but very exciting. As I said, our sales have quadrupled this past year. Busy, 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 and loving it. So it's little cutesy things that I'm just putting little hints here and there. So, so I will actually be saying, Diane, are you ready to order your Juice Plus? Everyone in the Western world needs it. And she's beautifully made up and she loves nice things, and I don't think I'll have trouble getting her. But that was about 2 weeks ago, so probably a little bit tardy of me. I need to lift my game and do that. Okay, the other one was my success story of the week, of the month, of the year, I think. About 3 months ago, Craig and I went to look for some new glasses for me, and I was having trouble with my contacts. Long story short, I met a wonderful optometrist at Carina. He was so helpful. He stopped everything. He took me into his room, looked at my eyes, diagnosed a problem that I already knew I had, told me that the lenses that I had were really ill-fitting. He knew that I'd paid good money for those, so he not only ordered me some trial ones, he actually gave me more than enough for a trial of the new ones. Obviously, when he wanted my information and his sales assistant, I never just say my name and my phone number. I hand my card. So as they're looking at the card, they say, oh, what's this? So then the conversation started. Cut a long story short, I've been in several times. I've actually asked the girl Gemma to an event, but she said, oh, sorry, I'm working on Thursday nights. So I was sort of half thinking, gosh, I've got to be a little bit firmer with this. So I went in the other day. The fellow is young, really quite an Aussie Asian fellow. He's about 30, 35. Absolutely delightful fellow. And I said, Eric, you and I need to have a glass of wine. I've really gotten a good relationship. I've been in there 4 or 5 times to get my eye glasses adjusted. And I said, Eric, you and I need to have a glass of wine or a cup of coffee, because there's young professionals like you in my business who are earning thousands and thousands of dollars a month after only 18 months to 2 years in the business. He said, yes, let's do it. So I wasn't even surprised. I had planned that. It was a series of exposures. So the only obvious thing that could have happened was a no. But he said yes. So this is the crux of my call tonight. I want you to all hear this about building for events, particularly one where you're paying for your guest. Now, we don't always do that, but this one is because venues are getting very expensive, particularly the one in Perth. So here's what I did. I said, Eric, I will get you a ticket and I will drop it into you. Now, there was a reason why I wanted to drop it into him and not have it at the door or just meet him there. I will meet him there. I wanted him to see that that cost me $10 of my hard-earned money. And then he said, I'd really like Gemma to go. And I said, well, there's one on the Thursday night from Perth because this fellow lives in Rockingham. So that was perfect for Wednesday. So I said, I'll get a ticket for Gemma. Do you think she'd like to bring a friend? So he SMS'd me later in the day, Gemma would like to come and she would like to bring a friend. So off I went again, took the tickets in for Gemma and her friend. When I was there was another sales assistant there who I've met before, Karen. Karen, I don't want you to feel you're missing out. Talk to the guys about it. If you'd like a ticket, let me know and I'll get you one. So there was no way I was going to really, it almost felt a little bit too staged for me to really start doing the spiel to Karen. So you have to judge it and assess it. And it is a fine art, but remember, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person or the right thing to the wrong person. So in my heart and mind, I've got Eric as a franchisee, he's got Gemma as his one, and between them, they can work on Karen. I don't need to. So I hope that helped you guys. And the other lady I'm dealing with, and she's back tomorrow, is the lady who really has befriended me from the Glamour Nanny. And I've got such a good gut feeling with that. And all I'm going to do is build a friendship with her. She will actually tell me if and when she's ready to do Juice Plus. So if you'd like to unmute yourselves and just tell me if you got something out of that, if you'd like to ask any questions, happy to answer.
Yeah, that was brilliant. Thank you, Hill. I've got so many notes. I'd need to probably even watch this recording again just to go over a few of the things with the just some of the spiels and the way you approach it. I'm excited about that. It's the confidence, I think, as well, isn't it?
Exactly. But you know what? I've also got the courage of my conviction. I'm not selling Tupperware. I'm not selling insurance. I'm not selling vacuum cleaners. I know people need it. And you know what? Can you hear a little lift in my voice? I love doing it. I have got that confidence. Do you think I always had it? I've always had the gift of the gab. But I was terrified people were going to say no at first. I couldn't care less at the moment. And look, that does come also with having a good business and earning nice money. But even if you're only earning a small amount of money, don't take away your desire or sense of urgency, but take away any desperation. So I would so appreciate you guys if you could say on Facebook, brilliant call, lots for everyone to learn, listen to the recording. Love to see you on the call next week.
I'll just leave it. I'll make a salad.
So I think I'll let you all go now. Is everyone happy? No more questions?
No more questions. We're still recording.
Yes, I'll do the recording. I'll upload it and put it on Hillary Manners YouTube. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Tanya, I think you're driving down, aren't you? Yeah, I know Tanya is. And Michelle, are we seeing you in the morning?
Yeah.
Fantastic. And Rachel, I know you'll be there. And then I'm having a meeting with Rachel. I'll do your call at 4 o'clock. Michelle, I'll probably just ring you. We'll have a really good chat. I'll either be at Rachel's place or I'll just be somewhere after finishing with Donna.
Okay.
And we'll leave it at that. So fantastic,
you.
guys. You are going to be NMDs. You are in my eyes anyway. So really, you're not doing anything wrong. Just keep doing as much as you can so a lot of those right things happen. Okay? Good night, everyone.
Thanks,
Okay.
Phil.